The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Once again this season, Qantas is proud to be flying Australia's cricketers as they take on the world. G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Unplayable Podcast. We've got a massive episode coming up for you today with interviews with Matt Short and Jake Lehmann to come up on the show. But first, let's introduce Kane Richardson, who's back here again as every week. Richo, I know it's been a big week for you, and there's some news around Punch the Monkey that I know that's really stirred up your feelings on the during the week.
You've completely lost me already 5 seconds into this. You said it's been a big week for me, and I thought, what's happened? I've been sitting on a mower at home for the whole week, so not a big week for me.
You're not across the Punch the Monkey news.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, well, let's move on very quickly into this week's weekly winner, Richo. You want me to start this week?
Yeah.
Because you always seem to kick it off, which you should. But this week I'm going to go for the obvious one. Alyssa Healy, obviously the retiring great. Final ODI, just punches out 158 off 98 deliveries. Her highest score in Australia, second highest ODI score. And I think got from 100 to 50 in 16 balls or something ludicrous. So what a way to sign out. And she decided to have a trundle as well.
That's what I thought you were going to point to first. I thought that would be, especially the topic of today's Big Four. I don't want to give too much away, but
no, I give it away.
Probably have now, haven't we?
That's right. The topic of today's Big Four
suspense is
part-time bowlers, the best that we've seen. So,
and I assume that came into your mind because of Alyssa Healy.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
I did find it funny that she did give herself the ball, and one above. There was some rusty bowling in there. We'll get to it, but
and not just one over.
Yeah, she went again.
Went that for a second. So.
She wanted the wicket, didn't she?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I reckon she would have preferred a wicket over the 158, but again, 158 of 98, 409 racked up.
Huge.
What a way to go out, as you said. So she's still got the test match to come, but just cementing again her legacy for generations to come as one of the greats of women's cricket in this country. So she was one of my weekly winners, but
for the batting or for the bowling or for the retiring?
Just all rounder for everything.
Yeah.
Also for Starkey again in the com box looking dapper, as some great footage when she brought up the 100. He didn't really know how to, just played it cool. So
because he knew the camera was on it.
Exactly. He's our man, so we love their work. I went Sanju Samson as my backup plan just in case, because you're talking big innings, needed to win to get into a semi-final. We know the pressure that the Indian team are under. 97 off 50, chasing a decent score against the West Indies to basically send them home and India to progress. And there was a lot of people happy after that. I reckon they're breathing a sigh of relief, because it looked like, not that they were out of it the halfway point, but you need a lot to go right chasing that score, and they did start slow. So he basically won one-man bandit to win. So 97 not out of 50 balls, get them the win. They're in the semi-final now. The broadcasters are happy. BCCI are happy. World Cricket's happy. So couple of big semi-finals coming up in the space. You can smell trophies now, can't you? It's that kind of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got the One Day Cup coming up. Probably not as high on people's agenda as the T20, but for us, it is.
Definitely,
so it's getting to that time of the year where it's time to start winning some stuff.
We'll touch on the T20 World Cup very shortly, but when you get to the final four, is it genuinely anyone's game, or are there still guys and teams who are in favouritism here, or is it even playing field now?
No, there's definitely seeds still, and being a home country, and everyone's pre-tournament favourite, India. So, but again, like you said last week, England have done nothing wrong. They've just slowly just gone about their work under the radar. South Africa have been probably 1B to India's 1A. And then New Zealand just, once again, like we hadn't spoken about them, no one had spoken about them. Oh, look at that, New Zealand's in the semi-final of a World Cup again. So, I mean, it's all going to come down to the toss of the coin. In my view, that's going to be such a heavy part of it. But it's still the best team can win batting first if they put a complete game together. So 4 very worthy teams.
All right. Yeah, we'll get to a more in-depth preview of those semi-finals very shortly. But after a quick word from our sponsors, we'll hear from Matt Short, who was in Australia's T20 World Cup squad before the tournament began. He was then left out of the finalised squad that they announced. And he gives us a bit of an insight into how that all played out and what's next for him. Pleasure to be joined now by Matt Short, who's just slotted back in seamlessly to that Victorian side. They're absolutely flying at the minute. Welcome to the Unplayable Podcast, Shorty.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Let's talk about the Vics. Obviously, they've locked in that home final already in the Sheffield Shield. They're going really well. What's the vibe around the group at the minute?
Yeah, it's been really good. I suppose it's been the vibe sort of every time I get back to play with them. Vibe's been really good. They've obviously had a really good year. A lot of guys are standing up, which is good. Not relying on just a couple of guys. So, no, it's just awesome to see the depth of the Vic cricket standing up. And, as I said, even the new guys that are coming in, are making an impact and helping win games for the Vics. So, it's awesome to see the boys rapping about.
One of the moves that we've seen made this year has been Sam Harper up to open, especially in the last couple of weeks, and he got those twin tons in Perth. Was that a surprise to you? Because, I mean, for a lot of us looking on, that was a bit of a surprise to see him move up to the top, but seems like it suits him perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I sort of look at it and no one really knew what the batting order was going to be over in Perth. But, yeah, he's sort of a weird one because he's obviously opened a lot in white ball cricket, and just sort of tends to get moved around the order a bit in the red ball stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, but it obviously paid off, and Bucky the coach, he's obviously pretty happy with the decision and the mastermind behind it all. But obviously Harps is in some incredible form. Just got that confidence now that I think he's found a tempo that suits him really well. It's been awesome to see. He deserves every bit of it. He's a very hard worker. Just awesome to see him doing well at the moment.
And from a bowling point of view, I mean, there's wickets everywhere you look. Scott Boland, Sam Elliott, Mitch Perry, Fergus O'Neill, and then you throw in Todd Murphy as well for some spin options. There's just so many options with the ball as well at the minute.
Yeah, and you missed Will Sutherland in there as well. Yeah, it's gonna be tight come the last game of the year. But yeah, as I said, everyone's standing up, everyone's sort of scoring runs and taking wickets. So I guess they all say it's a good problem to have with the depth and whatnot. So it was pretty special. The other week in Perth, just watching the guys go about it and sort of just standing in the hammock at first slip, and it was awesome to watch.
Now, as we touched on, you guys have locked in that home final, which means the Sheffield Shield is going to be on the line come, I think it's March 26th. Have you won a Sheffield Shield yourself? I know you've been in a couple of losses to WA, but have you won one yourself?
Yeah, I won one against New South Wales. I was at 17-18, so... and then I've, as you said, lost a couple against WA. So it was nice to get that win against them over there. Not often win over in Perth, but I was lucky enough to play in that one against New South at the Junction. It was a good few days.
And we've seen your coach, Bucky Rogers, even come out and push your test credentials. If you finish this Shield block well, he reckons that you're definitely in the mix for a test look in as well. How do you sort of respond to something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a hard one. And it's probably been tough for the last sort of 2 or 3 years, just with the amount of white ball going on. And, I've probably come to a point now where, especially sort of finding myself out of the white ball team at this stage, sort of really needing to sit down and figure out what I want to do and, what I want to have a good crack at, whether it's red ball or white ball. So, probably in the middle of that, and probably need a bit of time to work through that. So, look, it's always been a tough question to answer. Like, obviously, it's great to have those comments come from your coach, and it's just sort of comes down to me and what sort of suits me and me and my family and what makes us happy, and and go from there. So, got a bit of work to go through at the moment.
Yeah, and maybe this is a tough one to answer, but in terms of the formats, I mean, from an outsider's point of view, it seems like T20s and one days would be pretty similar in terms of your prep and everything. And then you've got 4-day and 5-day cricket, which is just a completely different ball game. Do you prefer the longer lead-ins and the longer match days, or are you happy with just in and out in one day sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, yeah, in terms of the playing style and whatnot, I'm happy with the sort of the short and sharp games. But then I guess in terms of the training and what's actually good for your game, I guess the red ball and training, working on your technique and trying to spend time in the middle, I guess is really good for your game. So sort of just weighing up all those pros and cons and I'm not saying that you don't train for T20 or one days, but you probably don't get the time in the middle that you can in red ball, and so they're sort of the things that I'm weighing up and what I enjoy more or what I don't, and as I said, what's better for me and the family moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so let's circle back to that T20 World Cup. You're in the preliminary squad, and then left out of the official squad that they took in. Can you talk us through those decisions and how you were sort of made aware of that, and was it a surprise to you, I suppose?
Yeah, I guess when I found out I was in the first squad of 15, the preliminary squad. I was obviously really wrapped, and I guess from the moment I found out, it was pretty much all right. Let's prep for World Cup, and let's make sure I hit the ground running and try and win a World Cup for Australia, and just the whole sort of experience. And I'd been around the squad a couple of times over in the West Indies. I was as a replacement or not a replacement, of travelling reserve player. So I sort of had the taste of it, but without playing. So this time I was really keen to get to Sri Lanka and really push my case and try and be involved in the World Cup. I was really looking forward to it. But then I suppose there weren't too many comms sort of leading up to the World Cup. Obviously we had the Pakistan series, which again was was going to be a nice little prep into the World Cup that I was going to use. And I guess they made the conditions, pretty tough to play, looking at what Sri Lanka was probably going to offer us. So, I was really looking forward to getting to Pakistan and, sort of testing myself and seeing what it was going to be like. And, obviously didn't, not too many of us did too well over in Pakistan. It was a pretty tough series to be involved in, but I sort of found out. I played the first game in Pakistan and then got a call from Dodders, who was over there with us. I think the day or the night before the second game of the night before the second game of the 3-game series. So I was like, he sort of invited me into his room, and I thought, I'm probably getting dropped for the next couple of games or whatnot. And when I walked in, Ronnie was in there as well. So I was like, oh, shit, something's going on here. And I hadn't really heard much. There wasn't much communication around, what the squad was doing or, we're heading to Sri Lanka in 3 days' time. And then, it's sort of Dodders was like, look, mate, there's obviously moving parts with injuries and, they weren't sure how long TD was going to take. And obviously Paddy was out and Hoff was not ruled out at that stage, but he was out. And, they just said they wanted to go with, while TD was out, they wanted that. They wanted Renners in to come through the middle. Maybe as a better option against spin, maybe as a left-hander, and with the top order being so stacked as it was, I guess my only way in was probably through the middle. So I guess that was the reasoning there, and so went into the room thinking I wasn't playing in Pakistan for the next couple of games, but still heading to Sri Lanka. But they were like, "Nah, you're still playing the next couple of games in Pakistan, but you'll be on the next plane home." So it was tough. But I guess it's made me sort of realise and sit down that there are actual areas of my game that I need to improve, and which I suppose probably comes more down to me. I've probably gone through the last couple of years, gone from tournament to tournament or series to series, and not actually sat down well enough, or reviewed how I'm actually going, or what I need to work on, what's going well, what's not. So. I sort of used the last few weeks, since getting back from Pakistan, to talk to the people I need to talk to, and work out a plan to, get back in that Australian team, and get better as a cricketer.
It's tough though, because obviously we've seen all your success, or a lot of your success, in the shortest form be at the top of the order. So does it come to a point where you might have to say, well, maybe I want to bat elsewhere in the order just to show my flexibility and to show that not necessarily just pigeonholed as an opener in T20 cricket?
Yeah, a little bit. I suppose the reason I got into the Australian team in the first place was from opening the batting and doing quite well. Yeah. So I don't want to get rid of that, and the communication from Ronnie and Bales, Dodders and whatnot. They still see me as an opening batsman, when that spot comes up, or if that spot comes up. But then, obviously to get into the team at the moment, it's probably through the middle, with the moving parts there. So, look, I've certainly had enough experience through the middle. We had that big India series here at home, where I played a few games through the middle. I did it a lot, sort of early in my career with the Vicks. Both red and white ball cricket, and then sort of the start of my T20 career as well. So, but I don't want to look into it too much. There's obviously areas to work on, and against spin and maybe in those sort of subcontinent conditions. But I don't want to sort of shy away from the fact that opening the batting is what's got me into the team in the first place. So I'll sort of stick with that and have a play around through the middle if I need to.
And do you sort of, not that you'd be somebody to pity yourself, but you look at that Champions Trophy and that sort of tournament ended for you with injury. Then you've got to this T20 World Cup and you were left out at the last minute. You sort of think to yourself, oh, gee, I wish I could just have a bit of luck come these ICC tournaments. That'd be handy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been hard. Every time you get injured, it's always you say you're unlucky and whatnot. But there's been a few series that I've missed. I would have been really keen to play in the one over in Jamaica there, but I missed that through injury. I think I did my side or something my rib. There's been, I missed a PSL tournament, earlier last year, which would have been nice to sort of play in the conditions over there. But there's obviously, it's just been a little bit frustrating with injury and not getting that exposure that I probably could have had throughout the year. So, which ultimately gave them we haven't seen you enough through the middle, or we haven't seen you perform well enough against spin or whatnot. So, it would have been nice to get those sort of decent blocks of games for Australia. But, injury has sort of got in the way a little bit. But, that sort of is what it is. You can't really control that too much.
And have you been watching the T20 World Cup, or have you been completely just checked out of it and not even checking the scores?
No, I certainly checked the scores. Didn't go far enough to sign up to Prime or Amazon, whatever it was. But no, to be honest, I was pretty shattered when I got the news and when I got home, and I just needed to get away from it a little bit and talk to my people and work out ways to move forward and what needs to be done to get back in there. So kind of put the World Cup aside and pretty much moved on to what was next, and that was playing Shield cricket, and that's all you have to do. I was probably lucky enough that I had extra cricket to go back to, but that was probably what kept me going, I suppose.
Now, obviously, the Shield will be your focus for the next little bit, but what do you have coming up later in the year that we can look out for? I think there's an IPL in there, and you've played MLC in the past.
Yeah, so I've only got the one Shield game to go this week, and then I'll head over to India for the IPL. I'll play with Chennai there, and again use that block as I want to head over there obviously to play and to win games and do well, but use it as a really good experience to bat over in those conditions and do a heap of training and playing versus spin and whatnot. I got lucky enough to have Mark Hussey over there as a batting coach, so I've been in touch with him a few times. Coming up with a plan and sort of ways around my game that I can sort of focus on and get better at. So that's been pretty cool. But then, straight to MLC, I suppose, after that. Hopefully a couple of Aussie series here and there if they go ahead. But, got the 100 auction coming up, which would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
To head to England. That's always a cool comp. But, sort of see what happens. But, there's always something going on.
That's great. Excellent. Well, Shorty, thank you so much for your time. Great to chat with you. All the best this week for the Vicks. And then, the IPL
Thanks,
after
mate.
that's going to be great fun. We hopefully get to see you out in the middle for the Super Kings.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to it. Always something going on.
That's great. Excellent. Well, Shorty, thank you so much for your time. Great to chat with you. All the best this week for the Vicks. And then, the IPL
Thanks,
after
mate.
that's going to be great fun. We hopefully get to see you out in the middle for the Super Kings.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
So great to hear from Matt Short. Very candid, very open and honest there. So we very much thank him for his time there. He obviously said he was devastated or shattered to miss out on that T20 World Cup, as you would be. And, now he has a chance to go back and look at his game and say, well, do I want to really focus in on being a potential middle-order international player? Or he said he wants to stay at the top and do his thing for the strikers. And that's where he's had all of his success, so that makes sense. But then I also found it interesting how he said there maybe he wants to also consider where his priorities lay, and we might see him a bit more in the red ball stuff.
Well, it's an interesting one. He is by design a casualty of opening the batting purely in the Big Bash. And again, you said his success has been because of that, but also now it probably makes him, and with Steve Smith the same, in the same basket, where when you get pigeonholed as you can only open the batting and be successful, then it does make you easier to be pushed aside for someone who does have adaptability. So I don't know, going forward, we seem to have this all the time with our T20 team, but all the batters, when they go back to the Big Bash, open the batting and do really well. Like Marcus Stoinis did it he doesn't now, but such a long period of time for the Stars was opening the batting, would get picked to go away for Australia and would bat six. So I think for adaptability purposes, like what Matt Renshaw has done, it feels like anyone can open the batting and not anyone can be successful, but it is the easiest place to bat. So for selection purposes, if you want to play for Australia, bat more middle order. He's got all strengths to his bow in terms of he bowls part-time spin and fields so well. So there is more to it than that, but can he show more to his ability to bat anywhere in the order? Because he has been thrown in at six for Australia and it's so foreign to him. So he did start his career at the Strikers. I remember playing his first game for the Strikers. He was batting middle order. He made 60 off 50 balls. Yeah. And he was a young kid, so he can do it. So that's probably something, as you say, he's got to look at moving forward. But also the rebel stuff. Chris Rogers said he's, a chance to play for Australia in Test cricket. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but, there's a play there as well. So he definitely, I guess it's going to be a big off-season for him. He's got IPL, so he's in demand in franchise cricket around the world. But, it's going to be an interesting time for him going forward.
Yeah, I mean, his Sheffield Shield numbers are good. I think he averages more than 40 over the past few seasons. So he's definitely got that talent there. And, the IPL looks like a great opportunity for him. If he does manage to get a game for the Chennai Super Kings, then obviously they're the conditions that the selectors want to see more of him in. And, as he sort of touched on in that chat, under the guidance of Stephen Fleming and Mike Hussey, two pretty good players or former players to give him some guidance on how to conquer those conditions.
Absolutely. And whether or not he's playing, at training, it's going to be the best time to practice those things as well. He's also in that weird basket where I know full well when you're living in a place where you're not playing your cricket, he's gonna, as you get older, he's got a young kid. It actually does weigh into your decision making and things. It becomes harder to keep up with things if you don't really want to keep up with them. So, as you say, with all this red ball, white ball, all this stuff, he's got a really big decision to make, I think, going forward, where you live on the Gold Coast, play for Victoria, but if your heart's not really in it, very quickly you can fall back and not want to do it. So, as we say, the IPL is going to be great for his upskilling, but also going forward, you'll know pretty shortly what he wants to do with his cricket going forward.
Yeah, and he mentioned family a couple of times in there as well, so it's obviously playing on his mind. One thing that maybe brought back some demons for you hearing was that selection chat, getting called into selected Tony Dodemade's room and having the coach there as well. Did that bring back any bad memories for you, being dropped or left out or unexpectedly not in the 11?
Oh, I've been dropped lots, like anyone has, but I'd never been dropped just before a World Cup or anything like that. I was ready for it. Never happened in that way. I do remember one where I went to an ODI tour to India, 5 games. We got thumped. We didn't have our best team, but actually did pretty well. And there was a home one-day series maybe a month later that I got dropped for, and I got dropped for guys who did well in the one-day cup domestic that was on whilst we were playing in India. So I remember that sticking out, and I was like, well, so I just did well against India in their own backyard against Kohli, Sharma, the GOATs. But you've picked guys who did well in the domestic cup at that stage that was getting played in Sydney on like suburban grounds. So everyone's got their selection. Cricketers love talking about selection and how unlucky we were, but that was one that stuck out to me, that I didn't get sat in a room with the coach and the selector. It was over the phone, but
yeah, that's maybe worse.
Well, domestic wickets, they're worth their weight in gold. And we want our domestic cricket to mean something, but I felt like that was probably not on the same scale of weight. So, but yeah, there's been plenty. I remember getting picked for a World Cup when Jai unfortunately didn't make the cut for England. So I was the Matt Renshaw in that situation where literally the plane was leaving the day later and I got the call. So there's good and bad to every story, I guess.
That was 2019, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So in hindsight, Hazelwood was ready to go as well and didn't get picked. So we live with it now.
You got to take the good with the bad, don't you? Let's go around the grounds then. We did touch on the T20 World Cup right at the start. So we've got South Africa taking on New Zealand in Kolkata. That's on Wednesday night. We'll get the results Thursday morning, or maybe if you're staying up through the night, you'll get it live. And then India and then England, they play on Thursday night in Mumbai. And, of course, that'll be Friday morning when we're waking up to those. South Africa still unbeaten. They've looked fantastic. The Kiwis, I mean, they're doing nothing wrong, are they? But it's going to be very tough to beat South Africa. They managed to push aside Zimbabwe in that last game, even though they'd left out Rabada, Jansen and Maharaj.
Yeah, they've done everything right. They've embraced being one of the best teams, I think, which is not something they're used to in these kind of World Cups. So they've, in the last T20 World Cup and now this with the World Test Championship, they've kind of started to prove themselves in the international stage. Kolkata conditions, so that's going to play into it. And you say New Zealand haven't done much wrong. They actually were pretty lucky to make it through, though, weren't they, with the groups in terms of the table of that group, with England being such a runaway that everyone was fighting for second and they were lucky enough to get there. But
just net run rate over Pakistan in
the
end, yep.
And you can never discount them again. They always just seem to punch above, so especially when it comes to the business end. So, yeah, again, 2 massive games. Is the final in Ahmedabad?
Yeah, it is, yep.
There's some bad memories there for India, aren't there?
Definitely. Yeah, in this tournament and 2023 World Cup.
I was wondering if the semi was going to be there and if they changed that last minute to Mumbai. So, again, South Africa look, if they do beat New Zealand, like sounds like we all expect, then they could be favourites at Ahmedabad with the history that India have had.
Yeah,
I'm just purely speculating here, but you look at the two big games they've lost there in the last few years. South Africa would be.
No, it's a good point, and also because India will get there with such great expectation on them, if assuming they knock over England, which I'm not sure that they're guaranteed to do. As Pommy and Bangor said, the England really haven't hit their straps yet, and they've still made it all the way through. But yeah, I reckon given that South Africa, they look so confident in their game, they could go into that match potentially as favourites, but with the less expectation on them. So that's sort of maybe a perfect situation.
Well, it's similar to the 23 World Cup, isn't it? I remember we flew in that day for that T20 series that was afterwards, that stupid T20 series, but we landed the day of the final and everyone in the airport was like, you're going to lose. Basically, like India at home, final, Ahmedabad, the crowd's going to be too much. And we didn't know at the time, but again, when there's that much expectation that it's a foregone conclusion, you're playing against really proud, skillful, great cricketing nations that are confident in their own change room, then anything can happen. So, and again, as you say about England, most of those guys play IPL, so they're so well tuned to the conditions. Will Jacks is having what a World Cup he's had. He's basically the standout player for them. But also you go through their order. Everyone plays IPL. They have done for the last decade. They're well in demand in franchise cricket. They know T20 cricket so well. So it isn't going to be the easy semi-final that India will probably hope for. And then again, if you get through England and you've got this beast in South Africa waiting. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And big crowds aren't a factor either. I mean, we know India's so used to it, but given how much of the South African team and the English team play in the IPL in front of these huge crowds, well, I don't think that's really going to be a factor either. So, it's going to be great to watch. One thing that really does annoy me about the Ahmedabad situation, I was lucky enough to go there in 2023, and I've seen it firsthand. Everybody says, it's got 120,000 seats. That's just not correct. If you go onto their website, the Ahmedabad Stadium website, Narendra Modi Stadium, it says that they've got about 90,000 seats. They got 120,000 in there that day because Trump was a special guest, and then they had people on the field, and so they got an extra 20 or 30. But there's not 120,000 people in the ground for a cricket match. So I just want to get that on the record. I'm not sure it's any bigger than the MCG either. So a bit of Aussie pride there maybe, but there's a bit of maybe exaggeration that goes on with the reporting there, I reckon.
Well, MCG is a big playing surface, so maybe we can say MCG holds 150,000.
Well, I reckon at its peak it could, absolutely.
There you go. So for the record, that doesn't count. If people are standing on the field, that doesn't count. If you can get 60,000 people standing on the grass.
Well, I mean, when we're counting attendances is all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're right. I think it's a good point. I actually haven't played there, but again, like you say, the big crowd factor isn't what it used to be because again, the IPL, all these guys playing it, but they also play in front of big crowds in there, not 90,000 or 120,000, but they play their domestic T20 franchise leagues now are a massive thing. So if anything, the bigger the crowd, the better, because it gives guys a bigger showcase to, put on their skills and show how good they really are.
And how much desire would there be for the South Africans, knowing how close they came 2 years ago, to want to get that title? I mean, yes, they've had that World Test Championship victory, a few of them, but a few of them, your David Millers and your Quinton de Koks, well, they weren't there for that. So there must be that desire to finally get that piece of silverware, and then they can tick it off and be done with that monkey on the back.
Well, absolutely. I think that without knowing for sure, but that would be to put yourself in such a strong position after the disappointment of that last edition that's hard to do. Like, it's obviously what every team wants, but to then back up in such emphatic style to this point, now it kind of means nothing, but I'm no doubt at all that, like you say, some of the great cricketers of South Africa, especially in white ball, haven't ticked off a trophy. So no doubt whatsoever that's driving them going forward, and they've done everything right.
Heading across to the women's side of things, Australia clean swept India in the ODI series, which means they've wrapped up that multi-format series as well with the test match still to play. They were absolutely dominant in this series. And I must say, after watching that T20 series, which India won 2-1, I did think, is this maybe we've got a bit of a changing of the guard in Australia? Could this be the time that we see Australia finally lose on home soil? Not the case. They came back. They showed 50 overs is probably their strongest format, has been for a long time. And, absolutely smashed them the other night, didn't they? 400 plus, as you touched on. Alyssa Healy, Beth Mooney getting another century. And, it was a total dominant display by the Aussie girls.
Yeah, it was. I think you're right in thinking that, just with Alyssa's time coming to an end, but also as they start to progress and get older, what's coming through. I know we've talked about breakout players and stuff, but you never know if that's going to translate to the international stage. And it's going to be interesting as they go to their next tour pretty much straight away after they wrap up this home summer. So there is going to be a transition period with obviously the new captain coming in Soph, and she's dealing with her own injury trouble. So hopefully she's fine for that. But yeah, I think there's enough in the cupboard still that they're going to be fine. And just with the coaching and the structures that they've set up in this country with girls cricket and the grassroots, the pathways and stuff, I think there's some good times on the horizon still.
Definitely. We saw a debut for teenager Lucy Hamilton as well in that third game. She rolled out in number 55.
Oh, nice.
Which was, of course, famously worn by yourself.
Yes.
And that did get Mitch Stark commenting actually on the broadcast, and your name was mentioned, and he gave you a bit
Is that why? Because of the number?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So Lucy, did she ask for permission to wear the 55?
There's not a strong lineage of 55s in Australian white ball cricket. I think Ben Lachlan was one before me.
Yep.
I actually changed my number to 55.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've had two Aussie numbers.
I was 47 to begin with, which wasn't my choice, but there wasn't much available. So, and yeah, there is this thing in Australian cricket. You are meant to ask the previous owner of that number.
Okay.
And 47, no one had worn. So I just got given that. I think it was my domestic number again. And I wanted 55. I took it without telling Ben Lachlan, and he hadn't played for Australia. It's meant to be a 2-year. I think it's 2-year period. It was over 2 years. I'd played with Ben in Adelaide. I thought he was never playing for Australia again. He thought he was a good chance. He messaged me on that tour. I left it on red. Never got back to him. So sorry, Ben. Now we're getting stuff on the record. Apologies, Ben, for not asking you for 55. But Lucy didn't. She didn't need to. I'm more than happy for 50. It's such a good number. Take it.
Why did you want it so badly? Because Ben was so good in it, or?
You know, I don't know if this is well known, but Kenny Powers, the fictional baseball character, Eastbound and Down, it's a show. He's like an old pitcher who, it's a story, but his number was 55. And when I watched his show as a 20-year-old, I was like, oh, that's my hero, Kenny Powers. So for those who know, Kenny Powers was my inspiration for number 55. But it is a strong cricketing number. Ben Stokes, Kyron Pollard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, 55.
Just two players. Keep an eye out.
And now Lucy Hamilton. There's every chance she'll be the best of the lot, given what we've seen from her so far.
Very good chance.
Okay, let's talk about some Sheffield Shield. We do have Jake Lehmann coming up to talk about being Domestic Cricketer of the Year and also making a move to play for Hampshire full-time. So stick around for that. But firstly, we've only got 2 rounds of the Shield to come, Richo. And although the Victoria have locked in their spot in the final, there are really a couple of teams who could make it as well. So we've got Queensland and South Australia are in second and third. And then mathematically, Tasmania and New South Wales can still make it as well from 4th and 5th. So it's a nice way to finish the season. This week, it's Tasmania, Victoria, South Australia versus New South Wales, and then Queensland take on WA. It all starts on Thursday, live streams on cricket.com.au and the CA Live app.
Well, it's a big round, 4 teams for 1 spot. It probably is going to be, after this round, you're going to know, really, aren't we? And there's always results, like the draw's kind of gone unless there's rain around. I feel like every game's a result in 3 days now. So, yeah, we'll get a good idea. I feel like Queensland are in the box seat just with the way they're playing. They've got WA this week who have struggled this year again. So I feel like it is a Queensland spot to lose, but then SA, you never count him out, my old fellas. So, with Carey back, New South Wales, have they named their squad? We spoke about it last week for the One Day Cup. You just never know who's going to come back out of the winter or the World Cup woolies that they put on as they flew back. You never know. Well, Sean Abbott will be back for them, so they'll be strong.
Yeah. Travis Head will be back for
Travis Head. I was going to mention his name, but you just never know with him. So whether he's got like some golf appearance on in
of course, somewhere
in the world, he's got a hole in one to sink. So
he can drain putts from 40 feet. So
can do anything. You just never know. But also with the management of those guys, they had such a big summer with the Ashes and the World Cup. So it's good. Hopefully there's as many of those guys back playing as possible.
With Victoria locked in, Scott Boland is obviously so key for them. The word was when he returned after the Ashes that he would probably play the final 3 matches of the season. Now, though, are you thinking cue in the rack for someone like him? He's just so important for them.
Yeah, he is. He also played 5 tests, didn't he, of the Ashes?
Yeah.
So you need 36. There needs to be a management plan. It would be nice for him to play every game, but I don't think they need him to.
Yep.
Maybe play this one and have round 10 off and keep him in Melbourne and get him ready for what is a massive game for them. So, they would know better than us, but I would dare say he can miss a game, can't he? He's probably earned that.
He's not going to lose form off missing one round.
I think he could miss a year and get out of bed without bowling and still just running and hit the top of off, 120 times in a day and not lose any pace. So, give him a game off.
Okay, there you go. So Queensland, they have a 0.95 point buffer, so less than 1 point over South Australia. We've got the full run home rundown on cricket.com.au. So if you want to see where every state is landing ahead of Thursday's round 9, get on there and check it out. Let's have a quick word from our sponsors. Then when we come back, we'll hear from Jake Lehmann. Joined now on the Unplayable Podcast by the men's domestic cricketer of the year, Jake Lehmann. Welcome to the podcast, mate. How's it all going over there in Adelaide?
No, thanks for having me. It's an enjoyable time in Adelaide at the moment, and some good cricket to hopefully finish the year.
Was it a surprise to be named the domestic cricketer of the year?
I knew that I'd had a pretty good calendar year overall, but yeah, I guess when it's voted by your peers and people that you play against, and probably some of the players that I look up to along the way as well, to get the recognition over some other players that had magnificent years as well is probably something special that I'll look back on for sure.
I was looking through your stats, and 6 of your 15 Sheffield Shield hundreds have come in the past 2 seasons. So it's been a real golden run. What do you sort of put that down to? Has something changed or has something clicked that wasn't there before?
I just think there's a multiple multiple things that have kind of come together. I think, Ryan Harrison taking over as coach has probably freed me up and probably gave me a few home truths about what to do. Probably a slight change in technique with Stephen Stubbings and a few other batting coaches around how I want to play my cricket, and then probably lastly just going back to enjoying it and playing cricket for the right reason and just trying to enjoy every moment and every game and try and do the right thing for the team and play cricket with a smile on my face, which has been highly enjoyable and it's probably come with a few wins along the way, and last year was awesome for South Australia. So, a combination of things, but it's all kind of trended in the right direction late in my career.
Yeah, that's great. Would you say that there was a period there where you just weren't enjoying cricket? Is that sort of maybe why you've been able to recognise that you really are enjoying it now?
Oh, I just think at times, I think throughout my career at South Australia, we probably rode some highs pretty early when I was younger and didn't quite get an overall win. And then there was some pretty low lows, I think, as a team, and trying to lead players through that period and trying to come out the other side of that. Probably, I wouldn't say that I love cricket and I've always loved cricket, but I probably didn't realise how much of a toll it takes on you mentally to try and stay upbeat and stay positive and, try and keep driving that team forward. So probably just a few of those pressures released and, you're rocking up the training and you're just focusing on yourself and what you have to do to prepare to play well. And I think that's really freed me up again.
Now, I'm sure one of your career highlights must have been that Shield final last year. You got that century in the first innings and obviously it was a drought-breaking victory. Can you take us back to that match? And now that we're nearly a year on, has it sunk in that you're part of history for your state?
Yeah, it was an awesome day. It was an awesome year, to be honest with you. I think we continued to build all year and we played probably the best cricket and we probably were the best team all year. So it was just one of those rewards for, a lot of hard work over probably like the 3 or 4 years before that, like I was saying, from all the boys, and everything just kind of clicked. And, to see Karen Rolton the way it was and to see everyone rock up and, give back to South Australian cricket for what it's given us over the last little bit. That was probably the proudest moment for me, seeing all the family and friends and all the staff and the background and, all the past players that have tried their best to over this period of time to recreate that. So just the whole aura of it was awesome. And, at the moment, we've just kind of missed out on the one day final making that. So, that's the probably first kick in the teeth we've kind of had as a team, and it's probably driving us in these last couple of rounds to try and put some really good performance on the board and make sure we're playing in that Shield final against Victoria.
Yeah, and I mean, a century in a winning Shield final, though, that's the stuff of dreams, isn't it? Is that as good as it gets in terms of being a domestic player?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's one thing I always get compared to my old man, so I'm happy to bring this one up. But I don't think he has one of them. So, there's not many things that I can beat him at statistically wise, but that's one of them. So, it was just awesome. I think the game situation and where the game was heading and, the form leading in, I'd probably been consistently doing that in those situations. So to do it in the Sheffield Shield final of all places is something that you can look back on and go like, I was ready and I performed in, one of the toughest high pressure games.
That's brilliant, yeah. Now, we heard a month or so ago that you're going to be taking up a contract with Hampshire as a local player. I believe you've got a British passport. So can you talk us through how that deal sort of came about and what it means for your cricket now?
Yeah, it's an opportunity that we've been probably looking at for the last couple of years and just trying to explore the opportunities for me to continue to play cricket and continue to branch out and try new things. My mum's actually fully British born. She's a British citizen, so I've had the British passport and been over and played for Yorkshire and Lancashire before using the passport. So, it was just a call that kind of came out of the blue, and it was an opportunity that I wanted to jump out and take with both hands. And I'm lucky enough that Saka have supported it to be able to come back and play another year here. And, I just want to keep learning and keep growing and keep spreading my love for the game of cricket while it's going well. So I'm super excited to get over there, and Giles and the staff and all the players over there, I'm excited to meet them and hopefully have an impact and make them a better cricket team.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, as you said, you've been over there and played before, but this was an approach that they made to you, was it? They put it on the table and said, come over here and be a local player for us.
Yeah, we've been reaching out and seeing if anyone was keen also. So it was definitely a two-way street. And, conversations I've probably had previous to this probably didn't, the timing wasn't quite right with, I've got two young kids and, the ability to travel over there and all these small little things that come up. So the timing was probably right for me. As a player and as a person in my life situation. So, I jumped at it with both hands.
What do you think you want to achieve from this new role, I suppose?
Yeah, like I said, I want to make Hampshire a better team, first and foremost, and the goal is to keep winning stuff. I think at my age now, what drives me is trying to win county championships or the one days or the blast or, Sheffield Shields. That's kind of what I've turned my focus to, is trying to win as many games as I can. And, what do you remember players for? And it's probably the players that win stuff probably get recognised the most at the back end of their career once they're gone. So they're the things that I've really tried to achieve, and hopefully that's something that I can do. And on the flip side of that, hopefully I can learn some stuff that they do over there, a little bit different to what Saka do, and hopefully I can bring that back here and implement that also and make South Australia a better cricket team when I get back.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, does this mean that you'll now be playing as an overseas player for South Australia, or is that a conversation you've had with the Saka?
Yeah, it would mean that I'd have to play as an overseas player. So, that looks a little bit different, but I know there's a few players in the past that have done it, and Mark Cosgrove's done it before. We've had Boats do it over here. We've had Charlie Humphrey up in Queensland. I think he did it. I think Sam Whiteman's going to do it as well. So it's not uncommon, but it's just probably not as put out there as much as other things.
Yeah, okay. And well, your old man, you mentioned him before, but he'll be coaching over there again this season, won't he? So will you be facing? Are you in the same division?
No, they're in Division 2 and Hampshire in Division 1. So I don't think we actually have any scheduled games against them unless we see them in a finals game somewhere along the line.
Okay, no doubt your paths will cross at some point.
Yeah.
As you touched on, New South Wales and Victoria to finish the season for you guys here in the Sheffield Shield, going for back-to-back, probably going to need to win both of those games. What's the mood around those, around the group at the minute in terms of, making that final and taking on the Vics in the decider?
Yeah, like I said, I think the Queensland Shield game for us was a really good step forward, playing some really good cricket. And then on the back of that, then we got that little kick in the teeth for not being able to make that one-day final. So the drive is definitely there from the playing group, and I feel like hopefully in the last two games we'll have a pretty strong squad with some player availability coming back. So from the World Cup, which will be awesome to strengthen our team, and hopefully this week is a massive game against New South Wales. You know, they're fighting for a spot, and they're playing in the one-day final, so they've got things to prove, and they're playing some good, strong cricket as well. So, but the thing is, it's still probably up to us, and it's on our terms, and that's one thing that we want to continue going into the last round. We want it to be us needing to win, or us needing to get the points that we want. We don't want to rely on any results. So this week is probably massive for us.
And one of those guys coming back from the World Cup will be Ben Manenti. How cool is it to see a teammate go about their business on the world stage? I mean, obviously you've got Travis Head and Alex Carey who do it so much for Australia, but this was a bit of a different one for Italy.
Yeah, I think, that just shows you how good cricket can be, and how, different paths to get to the highest level, and play at a T20 World Cup in India is something that you're probably not going to get to do much. And for him to do it with Harry, his brother, and a couple of his best mates, and everyone back here, we were watching every game. You probably weren't sure if they're going to win or not, but he went out there, and I think he was the most influential or impact player of the minor round. So
definitely,
the support was there, and it just shows you how if you get these opportunities to perform against England, and it would have been cool to probably see Italy play Australia. That would have been great if Heady was bowling, Benny was bowling a Heady or something like that. But it was really cool to see, and proud of the way that they probably carried themselves mostly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they did really well, and no doubt we'll see them again. I was just looking back through your record. Obviously, you've played for the Saka for 10 years now. And 10 years ago, in your third Shield match, a double century against Tasmania. What are your memories like of that match? Because, amazing to be able to pull off such a big scorer so early in your career.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now. But it was one of those things when you're probably a little bit younger, and you're taking things for a little bit granted. And but I do remember one moment of that game. I think we were 3 for 50 odd, and I batted all day with Callum Ferguson. We were getting close to the end of the day, and they took the new ball, and I think I would have been on 160, 170 or something like that, and I was starting to get a bit loose and bit of carry on. I thought I'd done my job, and I just remember Fergie pulling my head in, and he goes, "We've got something amazing to do here. If we get through tonight, we get through this new ball, we could both get double hundreds tomorrow night." It was just one thing that I was like, all right, I'm going to remember that, because it was a way that someone else can help you at the other end, help the team, don't expose anyone else that night. All those small little team fundamentals came into that moment. So that's one thing I do remember of it. And it was a bit of a run fest after that. I think George Bailey got 100. I think Ben Dunk got 100, but we won. So it was one of the good wins that we had during that early part of my career.
Mate, you shouldn't be telling people it was a run fest. You should be telling people it was an absolute minefield, and you got 200. Now, I also wanted to ask, because we had Alex Carey. He was on the Big Bash Surge podcast during the Big Bash season. And he mentioned his Big Bash debut for the Strikers involved you. You were there in that match, and you got the wicket of Shane Watson in that match. I just wanted to get your memories of getting out the great Watto.
Yeah, out of all the stories that I probably tell over my Big Bash journey, it's probably the one that I bring up the most. That's probably the reason he's remembered it, is because I've probably said it 50 times. But yeah, no, I loved that. It was at that time I was trying to bowl a little bit more, but my bowling wasn't that great. But I was trying to find a way to contribute to the games in T20 cricket, and you know, the wicket wasn't that great. I think Ishodi got like 6 for 8 or something like that. It was spinning, and anyway, I bowled a pretty bad ball, and Watto hit it straight up, and Benny caught it, and Jason Sanger, that's come across, he was actually at the Thunder at the time, and he reckons it's one of Watto's biggest blow-ups that he's ever seen. And yeah, if he probably doesn't remember it, but I definitely do.
Oh, mate, that's definitely something to hang your hat on. I mean, forget about winning the Sheffield Shield. I mean, you got Shane Watson out in a Big Bash game, so that's it. Awesome, mate. Well, really appreciate your time. All the best for the rest of the season, and good luck over there in England with Hampshire. Hope it goes well, and yeah, hopefully you set a new legacy over there in the UK.
No, thank you very much.
So the Domestic Cricketer of the Year, Jake Lehmann. What a purple patch he's been in. Obviously, there was a lot of talent at the start of his career, as I mentioned to him, a double century in his third match ever. But just the last couple of years, he's just been on another level. I think it was 4 matches in a row he got a century at the end of last season, including in the final. Talk about big game player and peaking at the right time as well. That's so important, isn't it?
Well, it's such an amazing story for his age, and if it was halfway through last year, I think he was probably treading water, looking like it was the end of it, to be honest. And he would probably admit that. I don't know if he did in that chart. I don't think he did. And I remember even my time there when I left, I still felt he was, you know, that guy is just on the edge. He's over 30, not going to play for Australia at this point. It's just such it's a famous name in South Australian cricket, but I felt like his time was coming. And then all of a sudden, he's just gone to career best form. So happy because he's one of the great guys in the room. Like, he's so universally liked in this, Australia-wide. Loved, like, no one has a bad word to say about him. He's a great fella, great team man, super professional, does everything right. But to also just get a trophy, again, famous name in South Australian cricket, to follow on that lineage of Darren, but do it his own way now as well. Like, he's there's just, you can't say too many good things about him because it is such an amazing turnaround to win Domestic Player of the Year, now have a gig lined up with Hampshire.
Yep.
At 33, 34, whatever he is, he's in the best nick of his life. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it's probably been 10 years of really hard graft, and on the edge, a performance here, a performance there. All of a sudden, it shows you can never give up on people because you just never know what's around the corner. So, yeah, super proud of him. He's, as I said, a great fella, one of the great team guys, celebrates everyone's success, even if, he doesn't perform. I remember that 200 actually as well. I wasn't there, but I remember speaking to George Bailey. I think he was captain of Tasmania. And I messaged him that night and I said, talk to me. And he goes, it's almost as if our bowlers didn't know the cut shot existed. So we bowled there all day. And at that stage of Jake Lehmann's career, that's all he had was a cut shot.
Yeah.
And he hit 200 runs with a cut shot. And George was just scratching his head thinking, it's like these guys just wanted to keep seeing this new shot that had been invented that day. So they kept bowling there. But yeah, I mean, he was on the edge of Australian selection. He was spoken about after that.
Yeah, right.
He was in Australia A selection as a young, early 20s kid. And then, as I said, that kind of dip came and then he was treading water. So yeah, amazing story.
And the cut shot's still a strength of him, of course.
And talking about that though, it's funny because it's still such a strong shot of his. And guys, I remember when we'd come up against Victoria, we'd have Head and Lehmann in the middle order and they would literally bowl cut shots, but it was like the old Damien Martin field where you bowl to his strength, but put all the field in there. They put in like 4 slips, 2 gullies, catching point, deep point. So they're like, if you want to play it, you might get a single for it. We also think you're going to nick it. So it's amazing. Like, you can have success now as you get older and everyone knows your game that well, but he's almost evolved. He's had again, upskilled, just added different areas. He's never going to lose a cut shot as a strength. But it just shows, like, I don't know, people can plan for you for so long and think they've got it all worked out. There's still ways you can get better and keep performing.
Well, David Saker, who was bowling coach of England during the Ashes, he actually mentioned that plan that they had, the Vicks back in the day, to Travis Head, and they tried it a bit during the Ashes series. Didn't quite work out so well in this series.
A bit better now than when he was that young South Australian captain, because they played on ego a bit as well. And again, we were a young group, and Heady was like a 22-year-old captain who wasn't thinking a lot and probably still doesn't. But after probably 10 balls of Scott Boland bowling it out there, he just would chase one and nick it. Yeah. And, I guess that's probably why he becomes such a good player now, is those domestic battles against Cam White, who's such an amazing cricket brain. Going through that stuff again is preparing these guys for future success. And that's, again, showed in Lehmo and Heady's case.
Yeah, and Lehmo talked about, falling out of love of the game a bit there as well, which is totally understandable when you're not making runs, and South Australia weren't winning a lot of games in the Shield through that period either. So great to see him come back and obviously re-find that love. And then under Ryan Harris's leadership, they've become a real force again. So things can turn around very quickly in this game.
Oh, absolutely. I think the other thing he dealt with, he was the older guy where before I left, but then after that, Chad Sayers left, Joe Mennie, Tom Cooper, Callum Ferguson, probably missing someone in there, but Adam Zampa. So a lot of older guys that he was mates with and friends with actually left. And all of a sudden he was hanging out with really young guys. Alex Carey, who they're really good mates, but he was off playing for Australia. All of a sudden it can become quite a foreign place. You've got all these guys coming from interstate. So saying he fell out of love with the game isn't surprising, because it probably didn't feel like the change room that he used to be in. All of a sudden you've got these new guys coming in, but then all of a sudden you grow with that. Alex Carey comes back, you're in a Shield final, new coach comes in that you love. So, yeah, it's a great story of perseverance. And again, as I said, a great team, man, so well-deserved.
And now he's going to have to play as an overseas player for his home state, which must be such a weird situation to be in. But he's signed a 2-year deal with Hampshire to play as a local player. As he touched on, his mother is British and has that passport. So that's a fun, new, exciting opportunity. I mean, Jake will be 34 in June or July in mid this year. So I guess he's thinking about his future and setting himself up for his family. And we've also, heard that Sam Whiteman is going to do the same thing. So maybe it's something that we'll start to see a bit more of from the Aussie guys.
Well, it's a good option to have if you have the option. Like we just saw Ben Benenti go play a World Cup for Italy. So if you've got the option with a passport to go play more cricket, and it's not like guys that are going to look at him differently in the change room when they come back because they're an overseas player. Maybe they should have to wear an armband or like a different coloured number as like an alpha status. But I mean,
different helmet.
Different helmet. Yeah. They got to wear their county helmet, but put some tape over it or something. But it's not, they're going to be welcome back. It's no one cares they're an overseas player.
Yeah.
So to get the option to go play county cricket, his dad's got such a strong history in the county game. Guys used to do it all the time, didn't they, back in that era where they'd go over there and make 1,000 runs every winter. So it's almost nice that we're seeing guys do that again more, and then also to have overseas players come back and play Shield cricket, because that used to be a more common thing than it is now. We haven't had an overseas player in the Shield for a long time. So, more cricket the better.
I know that the English fans aren't super happy with the situation that we have, that it seems like the Aussies can go over freely, and then when an English player wants to come over here and play, it's a lot of a harder process to work out. But, we've only got 6 states, so it's not like we've got heaps of spots to fill over here in
But
Australia.
still, if Joe Root rang Queensland tomorrow and it's like, I want to come play Shield next year, do you think they're going to say no?
They'd make it work.
They'd make it work. So I know Jake Lehmann and Sam Wyman aren't Joe Root, but it's still at that point, if someone's going to want to come and make your team better and it's going to help their development, but also going to help the players around, so it's benefit for everyone, then I'm sure people would listen. So like Andy Flower used to do it for South Australia. I remember Eunice Khan did it.
Yeah, did you play with Eunice?
I didn't play with him, but I was at training, and the things guys learnt from him at training, like that's the valuable experience that you draw from that. And we see it all the time in the Big Bash. So that argument doesn't really apply to T20 cricket, but it does for 4-day cricket. I don't think it should, because it makes people better.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jake, part of his deal is that when he goes to Hampshire, he's got a bit of a duty to, the young kids coming through at Hampshire, he's going to help, provide them with opportunities to get better as well. So
this is how to play the cut shot.
Well, maybe they haven't discovered the cut shot like Tasmania hadn't that day. So I think there's benefit for everyone. So I think those people that get their nose out of joints probably not right.
So as we touched on, the big four this week is going to be part-time bowlers. Part-time bowlers who should be bowling more. That's the general theme of today's, because we saw Alyssa Healy bowl. I think we've seen her bowl enough. And Jake Lehmann, we also spoke about that famous wicket in the Big Bash getting out Shane Watson. I mean, if you're only going to get one wicket, you may as well get
pretty good one.
Someone like Watto.
Yeah.
So I'll take it away this week. I'm sure you've got your own thoughts, but you did it last week, so I'll start off with my four. And I'll just put out there on the record, I think a lot of people might say Matt Renshaw, Travis Head, those sort of guys. I think we're seeing them bowl about the right amount. I reckon Nathan McSweeney is someone who's under-bowled. He always seems to get wickets when he bowls with his right arm off spin, so I like him.
Yeah.
Campbell Callaway is someone we might see a bit more of in the future, left arm spin.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen from him so far.
Okay.
And I mean, Victoria have so many options with the ball, so he's not getting much of a look.
He hasn't bowled
these
much
days.
at all, has he?
Nah, but there's something there. I found it hard to find many on the women's side of things just because they've got so many great all-rounders. And, you know, if you're an all-rounder, you can't be a part-timer. But one who came to mind was ACT captain Carly Leeson. Now, she is a very good medium-pace bowler and would be considered an all-rounder, but she started to bowl leg spin as well this
That's
season.
handy.
So when we saw her play Queensland earlier in the year, she would bowl leg spin to the right-handers and bowl medium pace to the left-handers.
Very Marnus type.
Very, a bit Marnus, bit Bo Webster, a bit
Bo Webster,
Funky
yep,
Webster. So I want to see more of Carly bowl the leg spin because there's definite potential there, and we love a leg spinner on this show.
Yeah.
And then my final one, going back a few years, Mike Hussey. Another
Medium
one.
paces?
Yeah, medium paces. Like his test wickets include Kumar Sangakkara and I think maybe Tilakratne Dilshan as well. So he definitely had potential. Didn't bowl a lot, but I reckon he could get it in the right spot. So that's my big four.
What was Kumar on that day? He was on a few, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'd have to check it out. But
I did like his technique.
Are you discrediting
No.
that wicket?
No. You still got it. I never got him out, so it still counts.
It counts, yeah.
I did used to love it when Ponting would bowl or Damien Martin.
Yeah,
or
it's
Mike Hussey.
fun.
It almost feel like there should be a little. How do we get them bowling more? Because it is. People probably disagree.
The crowd goes up though when Marnus gets thrown the ball, don't they?
Maybe. Yeah. I guess so. I think it's more like when he bowls a lot.
Marnus does bowl a lot, yeah. Especially now that he's captain of Queensland.
Well, all the time. He's like bowling first change. It's more those guys who it's like once every 3 years you see him bowl. Especially, I think it's more you never see guys bowl medium pace that are part-timers. It's
That's
always
true.
spin.
Yeah.
So to have a medium pace part-timer is...
Yeah, like your Hussey.
Yeah, it is pretty rare. So...
Did you have any others to mention there?
Matty Wade was a good part-time medium pacer.
Yeah.
Bowled good bounces. Hate facing him in the nets.
I know that the speed gun said he was 130. Was he genuinely that quick? Or was that a bit of mayo on that?
Was that in a game?
He got
test?
clocked at 130 in the test match, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Really?
With adrenaline.
Wow.
He's like that little bulldog.
That's incredible,
Full
though.
of muscle. Bit of adrenaline.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
Nick Maddison was underused for years. Even for the Thunder this year, I was like, he should be bowling like... they had 15 spinners, but he always got... There was times at the Renegades when we were at our lowest, where I would bowl the first surge over and he'd come to me and said, who would bowl the second? I was like, I think you should. So sorry to the other boys that were playing, but he got it done, I reckon.
Yeah. But you're also at your lowest there, but you're also at your highest, so...
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we
there was
had a young team.
Yeah.
Give it to an experienced guy. Cam Green in 2020 internationals. Part-timer.
Well,
Needs to bowl more.
He doesn't bowl at all, really, does he?
And then all-timers, Marcus North.
Oh, wow, okay. Yep.
Simon Kadich.
Yep, Cat, yep.
Could have easily been a frontliner.
Yeah.
Had I remember facing him in Shield cricket early on and I was petrified.
Right, left arm leg spin.
Yeah, but also just the demeanour of the man. He was captain of New South Wales, angry.
Oh, he would have been fierce, yeah.
And he was bowling because the bowlers weren't getting it done. So Tom Cooper was another one, actually, BBL.
Oh, yeah, he'd take the first over quite a bit,
Did for a lot
he?
for the Renegades. Would bowl the first over and had a real good knack of getting a wicket, like a Brendan McCullum, like a big wicket. He'd go 1 for none or none for 3 and wouldn't bowl again. But that was some of the names I had just in case you didn't get them. But I reckon it's a pretty good list.
That's good. Okay. Well, we'll be keen to hear our listeners'
Yeah, add some
best part-timers as well. I had one overseas as well.
Oh, yeah?
Joe Root.
Yeah, I had him here too.
He should have bowled more in the Ashes
He
series.
absolutely should have.
He's a really good bowler and probably England's best spinner at the minute. So not sure what they were thinking there. But
I do wonder if I always put myself in this situation. If I was a really great batsman and the bowlers weren't getting it done, I'd be like, I'm not bowling because you're. That's like me having to bat 3 because you guys can't make runs. Like that's kind of. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I do. Like
Yeah,
it shouldn't be up to
you know,
me
he's
to
35.
do your job.
Like
yeah.
you know, it's hard. I'm facing Mitchell Stark all the time. Like,
Yeah, maybe the back's a bit sore.
The last thing I need to be doing is bowling 10, 15 overs. So
That's
I reckon there's
true.
a part of that. But
But
I
there
don't
are-
know the personality. He probably wanted to bowl.
There aren't too many batters though who don't love to get the ball. Surely though.
Yeah, I reckon it's one of those things though. They say that and then they have to start bowling and they're like, this is why I put so much time into my batting and never practice bowling in the nets or at training. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things that sounds good to say, but it's...
Pretty good list. Send them in to podcasts@cricket.com.au if you've got some more. And we might read out some of the best options next week as well on the show. So that'll just about do us for this week, I reckon, Richo.
Pretty good. It's almost like rain break in the cricket that. We're just finding content, weren't we?
That was pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
Do we want to lock in who's going to win those semi-finals so we can come back to it next week?
You go.
I'm going to say South Africa, England.
I'm going to have to say the same.
Really? No
Yeah.
India then?
I just feel like the weight of expectation, it probably will come back egg on our face, but I feel like England just, they're quietly somehow, we don't like it, but they're going under the radar and I feel like they're peaking.
It's not often that we're in agreement, so there you go.
Or maybe should I change my answer then?
Well, you can lock in whatever you want.
No, I'll go the same.
All right, good stuff. See you next week.
Thanks, Josh.